Hey there, welcome to Big Sexy Chat. This is Crystal.
This is Merf.
Hey Merf, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. I'm so excited to talk about today's
Oh
topic.
my goodness, there's so much to talk about, especially in current events. Um, have you heard about the Curvy Teacher? It's called the Curvy Teacher story. Curvy Teacher in New Jersey.
Yes, I looked her up.
People are up in arms. Had it. She's too
And,
curvy to be a teacher.
and I can't believe the comments and the things that are being said about this woman's body just because of the way it's shaped.
Yeah, well, like I often say, if you are a woman and you look femme presenting, somebody has an opinion about your body. It's probably true of men as well, but it kind of gets weaponized against women as far as our bodies look. But I keep describing her when I ask people about this question. I can describe her kind of. She has like a Jessica Rabbit body, right? She's
Yes,
very well endowed in her breast. She has a really small waist, and she has a very big booty. And I think that's what all the Kardashians are going for, right? That's what they're all trying to have, that same look.
yep,
But this lady is a teacher, and you cannot be a teacher and be such a voluptuous body, apparently. But everything I saw of her, she's got, I mean, not on her personal Instagram, but when she was in school and teaching art, she's an art teacher. She like has like a mock turtleneck on and jeans, and she's very covered up.
absolutely. There's nothing that she's wearing in the classroom that is provocative or inappropriate that you would expect a teacher, never to wear on campus.
I asked this question on my Facebook page, and this one lady, Rachel, she said, "What's she supposed to dress like? She's a human. What is there not to support, right? She can't
Exactly.
control the shape of her own body. She's dressed appropriately. The bigger question should be, is she doing her job? If yes, leave her alone." So true.
And this seems to be a regular issue or a hot topic in terms of how people perceive a professional and how they should act outside of the workplace.
Right.
Think of that. I think it's a prime minister. I didn't follow the whole
Yes, yes.
individual who's in her, early 30s and she's going out having a good time with her friends dancing at a club.
Mhm.
And they just slammed her for
Yeah.
how dare you have this personal life? How dare you have, any kind of fun or anything outside of work where, you're not tied to it. And I think about this teacher, it's like, even if she had a side hustle, and it sounds like she does with her Instagram page, because she's got 1 million followers, something like
She
that.
does now.
So she's monetizing on Instagram, and it's not impacting her job. There's nothing that she's doing that is saying, hey, this person can't be a wonderful art teacher to a bunch of little kids.
Wasn't that whole movie made about something like this, like Footloose, where you can't, no dancing and like, no, everything's got to be so buttoned up. And yeah, it looks like everything she wears to work as a teacher, as a kindergarten teacher, totally appropriate.
And
100%.
I was reading the comments on your page where, people were talking, and Kristen, she said, as long as there's a dress code that's applied to all teachers, then there shouldn't be a further debate. And also, I want to know where she finds her jeans, because they fit in the waist and the hip, and that's the real mystery.
Yeah.
And I could agree more. I think she gets those tailored.
She must have a great tailor, because yeah, she has a really tailored jeans, because if you're going to fit those size of hips, usually the waist is going to be bigger. So she must have to get them all taken in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I thought it was interesting too, because I'm white. I probably didn't notice this at first, but a woman named Monty, she was like, well, we do have a long history of policing Black women's clothing and hair. And I was like, oh, shit, this woman is a woman of color.
Right.
She's right. It's very, like everything else, steeped in white supremacy, right? And like, you have to be Victorian and you have to be covered up, and you can't be, because, Black women are so sexual, and all the things that the racist, sort of imply about Black bodies. And I really don't know this woman's ethnicity, but she's beautiful, and
Right.
her skin is more brown. But yeah, I didn't even think of that, which I should have, but I didn't. But yeah, I think that's a good point too. Why are we policing? Why are we policing a teacher's body? Or why are we police kids' bodies at school too? Little girls get in trouble for what they wear to school.
Absolutely. And it surprises me too that, this is becoming national news just because of the shape of her body. And I think that there's a lot to be said for who's the people complaining about this? Who are the ones that make this a national news story?
Right,
Are they sitting in the PTA meeting complaining about, Mrs. Jones's, I don't know if that's her name, but, this teacher's butt rather than, hey, my kid isn't learning their colors.
My kids can't count past 2.
Academic, her ability to teach others to learn academics was impacted. Okay, let's have that conversation. Right. But nothing here is explaining other than prejudice of this woman's body.
Absolutely.
And sexualizing it. They're sexualizing it.
They are. They're the ones sexualizing it. Exactly. She's not. Now, her Instagram is really not for probably her kids, kindergarten students. You probably don't want them to look at it. I don't know. I mean, I don't see any nudity on her page. It has some implied nudity, but if you want to see what we're talking about, her IG is Toy Box Dolls with a Z, DOLLZ. And yeah, she had like 600,000 followers one day, and then the next day close to 890,000. Now I'm sure it's over 1 million. And she even had Fat Joe out there defending her, saying, hey, she's doing her job. She's an amazing artist, by the way.
Yeah.
Her art is beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and her body is beautiful too. I mean, I think when she's got her Instagram page, there's some really provocative outfits that but it also looks like she's modeling them for like a Fashion Nova kind of webpage.
Yeah.
Something like that, where they're really looking for a curvy hourglass body that they can display their clothes on. If she's getting free threads for just, having a great body, go for it. Like, why? Yeah. Why is there so much hate around it of just like, I've got to, you can't do this, or I don't like that you have a big butt and that makes me want to stare at it. Well, oh, well.
Whitney on my page and a lot of other people on my page said she can't leave her body parts at home. She can't like detach her breasts and detach her booty and leave it at home. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be visible no matter what. She could have a burqa on. It's going to be visible. She's going to have a curvy body.
Yeah.
No harm in that.
So disappointing to see that people still want to complain about these types of things rather than the merit of her job. Like, what's her work ethic like? What does she do that tells me that she's not teaching our youth what they need to know? Then we'll have the discussion. But right now, no. I'm so glad that the majority of the comments on the page were similar to that in some fashion or another.
I put on her IG, hey, we're going to talk about you this Sunday on my podcast. We'll let you know we're both supporters. But how about all those thirsty men in the comments?
Oh, yes. Like, hit honor through our page to her. I just was cracking up. I love it. I love the raging testosterone of some of these dudes.
There's all that hope that they have all the time. But that one of my friends said he goes around asking women for random strangers, it's so annoying, for oral sex. And he said, look, 1 out of 100, I'm going to get a yes, so it's worth it. I was like, good Lord. So maybe that's what these thirsty men in my page are thinking. Oh, yeah, couldn't hurt.
Absolutely. Let me see if I can just comment and get her to contact me.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, Fat Joe was out there defending her, and she has a lot of defenders, and I'm so happy to see that. Yeah. And yeah, it's 2022, people. It's time to give up on all that Victorian era of our country. Although some people are trying to push us back in time. But the other thing that I just love right now that's kind of been going viral is that song about the Victoria's Secret was made up by a dude from that cute little girl, Jax. I guess she was on American Idol at some point. But yeah, I love that song. It's very catchy. It's always at work. I have it on like a station on the radio, play it like once an hour. And I'm like, oh.
I love it. And there's been some like pushback, I think she was on her TikTok explaining, that people are complaining about her calling out this brand. But isn't that our job now to call out these brands that are just really shitty to human bodies? Yeah. And have that be, okay, well, I'm putting you on blast because this is ridiculous.
Yeah. And you know what? It has been, in a way, helpful that we have all been putting Victoria's Secret on blast, because for sure, when I would shop there, they look at me like, are you crazy? Like, I'm here
Oh
to
yeah.
buy perfume. I'm just here to buy a bag. So I have thin friends. I know it's crazy, but I do have some thin friends that can fit into your stuff. I don't just hang around fatties. But
Right.
I saw that Jax was also getting a little bit of criticism because she's not a large person. She's a kind of like, I would say, straight size, as they call it in the fashion world.
Mm-hmm.
And but when she had her mob, whatever you call those things, where they all show up to dance, some of those girls were and people, I should say, were a little bit larger than Victoria's Secret models, which I appreciated.
Absolutely.
But this whole thing started. You know how this started? Because she was babysitting a little girl who was struggling with her body image, so she wrote that song.
And I like that she said, I'm writing this about real life. And if this person, the CEO, his name is Wexner, last name is Wexner, it thinks that he can just tell people, oh, well, this is what beauty is. It's like, no, that's not what beauty is. And we're all starting to shut that down.
Yep. And they are going to try to have some plus sizes, apparently. I know their bras stop pretty low as far as around the rib cage. People love their bras for some reason. I've never had the opportunity to wear one because I'm way bigger than the size that they would ever carry. But people seem to love them. And it sounds like they're trying to add some plus sizes, but I'm also like, F you, you didn't want my money before. So.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, if you can show me that you're not just talking the talk, you're going to walk it. Okay. Show me that. If you're going to do that, cool. Maybe I'll have you, I'll give it a second chance, but I have not had good luck with Victoria's Secret. I have worn the bras though, because I'm a C, so I would be able to fit into them, back in my skinnier days. Great, they're nice, but my big thing was they're one of the few places that does like an all satin set, and I love satin lingerie, and so I love them. But then it was like, okay, now I can't fit in their extra large anymore. Oh, now I can't fit it, so it's like, okay, well, I can't get it anywhere now. So, oh well. But one of the things that it reminded me of was remember when Abercrombie and Fitch?
Yes.
It's like I classify sometimes those kind of people into like, oh, you're one of the Abercrombie and Fitch kind of people.
Yes, he only made clothes for the cool people.
Right. And that's what I always think about with Victoria's Secret is like, sorry, you're not angel material.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Lane Bryant did? Like the I'm no angel, or yeah.
I bought something, everything they had that said that I bought it. So I even had a pair of yoga pants that said on the butt. I was like, that's right. I'm no angel. Yeah, whatever. Screw them. Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting that she's going viral. I'm happy for her. Happy for both of them to be going viral because both of their messages are very important and obviously still needed in our fat phobic world.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately. Yeah. But
I didn't know if you wanted to talk about hot topics.
I always want to talk about hot topics. Absolutely. My favorite.
We have a good one this week. We're talking about sex workers.
Oh, yes. I know you and I are both very pro sex work. This should be legalized and normalized.
1,000%.
They need to have unions and healthcare and, make sure they're not being trafficked by somebody else, Yeah. So did you know that a lot of curvy women, a lot of people of size do sex work online and in person?
Not so much the in person that I knew about, but online, I have a lot of people that I associate with, friends and just professional folk that, I know that have an OnlyFans or run a whole website, that kind of thing of XXX erotica or someone doing like, I've had a couple friends that did escorting and made good money doing that. So yeah, I've had but not so much in person that I know of, like outside of the business.
Well, a lot of people that are in the dominatrix business are people of size. And it seemed to me, based on all the, when I had my store, I met a lot of sex workers. And I already knew a lot of sex workers and people they were cam girls, and not before OnlyFans. And but I do know a lot of fat OnlyFans ladies and people, and that they're all killing it. But yeah, even the ladies that would come into my store who were, doing the in-person, online from the different websites and stuff, they no problem finding clients. Nobody's turning them down because they're a person of size. In
Absolutely.
fact, it's like their niche, right?
Right. Well, and I have a friend who specifically is a feeder, and she has her own website, and she makes a killing just from, the fetishizing of being a fat woman and, really just calling full on attention to it. Like, I'm getting bigger, and I'm, and that's the theme of her content that she puts out, and she makes so much money.
So she's a feedee. They're feeding her?
Yes. They're buying stuff, and her partner is the hand that you see outside that's like giving her the cheeseburger, or he brings her the food, so it's, you never see the guy, but you like have that presence of like that point of view,
that's cool.
I'm feeding her this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a few friends that are feedies that are killing it as well. I've noticed that in the people that I know that do sex work in person, they usually have some kind of, like, they're a fetish of some kind. Like, they have their clients have a foot fetish, or a big butt fetish, or a sugared butthole fetish. It seems like if they kind of niche down, then that's where they find their clients, and there they go, and they're off and running.
Yeah, I was reading an article about different types of sex work, and there's a lady. Well, there's a lot of people, but this one lady who was like talking about her job. She's like, I just get up in the morning and I put out on all my social media platforms, I want a bagel with blah 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 and an iced mocha, and it's DoorDash to her that somebody just wants to treat her.
Yeah,
and it's like, I just want her to call me bad names.
Yeah,
and that's all. It's like, what? I get a bagel and an iced latte with calling you a douchebag in the morning? Like, okay. How do I sign up?
Life. Yeah, and then a lot of the sex workers also get into mailing their underwear, selling their socks, selling their gym clothes, selling them all very stinky. They want them fragrant, dropping them in the Ziploc.
I used to do that.
Oh, that's right. You did, huh? You did the undies, right?
Did undies and tube socks. I would go and buy like the big package of tube socks and wear them for like a week. And oh my God. And then lock them, and they're just so gross, and they wanted that though. The more like you ran around and it's what you did, and like, oh, I was out, did a mile walk, blah blah blah. Oh yeah. I would make bank.
It's crazy. I heard that in Japan you can find vending machines that have like underwear from people in sealed packages, and you can just like, I want to order D10. I want this V12, and then they just like a vending machine. You pick them out and you take them home, and you have what you want: your stinky undies and your stinky socks.
Dirty.
A lot of people like stockings, right? Stinky stockings.
Yeah. Stinky stockings that have been worn. Yeah. There was a girl when I was selling stuff. She was a Hooters girl.
Oh
my God. Her stuff, like her stockings would go for like $900.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And they wear the full pantyhose there, right? With the tan pantyhose. Oh.
Ones with sparkly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bank. She would just buy, like, oh, I'm going to buy 6 of the outfits, as my work uniform, and then sell them. And oh man, I would sit there and see her stuff, and I'd be like, okay. Maybe my tube socks will make money.
How much did you get for your tube socks and your undies?
I would probably get around $50 for my underwear, and I think the most I ever got was 120. I was like 129. It was damn near $130.
Not bad.
For my socks, yeah. And the only reason I stopped is because the post office changed their process for parceling first class mail then.
Yeah.
And it became a pain where you had to like go in, and I was just, nope, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. How do people find you? Like, are you on a certain website where they're like, people sell their underwear here, people sell their socks here?
Yeah, there's a ton of sites available where you can jump on there. And if you search around on TikTok, you'll find all kinds of folks that do that. And they'll say like the name, but they'll blank out, kind of like when we say sexy and it's SEDY,
Yeah.
there's special words for the names of those sites so that you can get on there and sell stuff.
You know, my hometown, Las Vegas, is a very popular place for the cam girls, where they have like big warehouses set up and they all have their own little cubicle and they do their cam girl thing. But also San Francisco used to be a big hub for that. And when they used to have the Armory tour, I went to kink.com to go see the Armory tour. And when we were getting there, there's all these like really hot dressed, really scantily people of all sizes and genders and you know, walking up these big, huge stairs. And I'm like, who are all these people? They worked there. They were going to go do their cam shows. So they had them all lined up and in a room. And it was way before COVID, you know, so there wasn't anything to worry about like that. And then they were doing also the, what do you call it when you talk? Dirty talk, too.
Oh, yeah, like
phone sex operator. Yeah.
Phone sex operator. Yeah.
I have quite a few friends that have done that and it made really good money, too. But I think you have to either be just really good or really have a niche.
Yeah. I think I could do the voice. I just don't think I could do it without giggling or like, like you said something, you would fart on me and I'd be like, you know?
Like you could just fart on command. There used to be a woman here. She was very infamous, the cake fart lady. Zoe, forget her last name. She, like everybody knew her. And she retired because she was more mature, but she would just get these cakes and then sit in them and fart. And they would photograph and video her farting in these cakes. People splashing where people get involved with food and smash it all over. I think what happens a lot of times is people don't want to ask their partner for these kinds of things. So hiring a sex worker allows you safely, for the most part, to do those kinds of things that you might not want to ask. Maybe you love and respect your wife so much and she's the mother of your children and you don't want to ask her to sit in a cake and fart.
Exactly. That profession has been around since the beginning of time.
Absolutely.
If people have to barter, one of the first things that they're going to barter is their skill or their body. And if they didn't have a skill and, hey, I can use my body as my skill, more power to you.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that should be shameful or dirty or have some sort of connotation. I mean, I know we live in a very religious society, so there's no getting around that. And that's where I think all of that stems from, at least me personally. But
yeah,
at least, you know, it's like if we had the opportunity to make sure these individuals are safe, and thank God most of them are the kind of people that want to be safe. So they go and they get tested and they make sure that, you know, they're doing proper hygiene stuff, or if they're involved with things like that, you know, they're making sure that they're protected and that somebody knows where they're at, you know, in case they're meeting some person. But you know, that flip side is the scary stuff, and we have the scary stuff because we don't want to have the conversation and normalizing that it's okay to have a sex worker be a part of, you know, your relationship or whatever your self-care, whatever it is.
Yep.
If we normalize that, we wouldn't run the risk of so many scary things, and trafficking would fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would fall apart.
I used to have a friend, she's still a friend, but she used to do the street walking. And I kept saying, girl, let's get you a website. You should be an escort. Don't get $50, get $500. Go online, you know, communicate with them via instant messenger or text or whatever. But $50, you'd have to do 10 people to get $50 or $500. Like if you're an escort, you can, you know, and by the way, is going out to dinner with somebody on a first date and they buy dinner and they buy the movie and the drinks and everything, is that any different than, I mean, kind of we're always all getting paid all the time, right? We're paying each other.
Yeah.
For different things.
In some way or another, almost always. Yeah. Well, and I think of like individuals who purchase like an experience, like a girlfriend experience or a boyfriend experience.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that feeling of, I don't even need to have sex with you. I just want to feel like I'm valued and somebody's paying attention to me, and having that sense of I'm taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a big part of what's missed out on sex work, is that there's this conversation that it's seedy and dirty and dangerous. A lot of people, it's about, I can't make that connection with somebody else, and this grants me that opportunity.
Oh yes, sex surrogacy is very important in our society. People who have disabilities sometimes have real difficulty getting any kind of skin on skin contact, and these people that are sex workers, they provide that for people that, and then like some people are just too afraid to put themselves out there to go date, and there's a million reasons why it's a good idea, and I can't think of one reason why it's not a good idea.
Right.
Not to make this political, but one of my sort of friends of a friend who's running for mayor here in San Jose, Cindy, she helped to, in San Jose, when they go and they bust these massage places that kind of give a rub and a tug. They don't put the people who are giving the services, they don't arrest them anymore. They get them education and they get them training and other training. They arrest the people that are there to receive the happy ending and the owners, which I prefer, but I still think, we should find a way to monetize this, legalize this, and normalize it.
Right. That's what has to happen for, this whole industry to change, is the normalization of it. It's one of the most frustrating things for me, is this kind of head in the sand approach, to sex in general in our culture, of just like, if we don't talk about it, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't talk about it, and that leads to teenagers involving in all kinds of anal play that gets dangerous. That involves with people going to sex workers that maybe didn't, have the ability to get STD testing or STI testing. So, it's like if you just talk about it, you mitigate the risk.
And also a lot of secrecy. Let's think of some politicians that have been in trouble for hiring sex workers or looking for a little sex action at the restroom of the airport by tapping their foot under the door and trying to see that anybody will come into their stall. And like, they're such hypocrites, right? We know.
Exactly.
Matt Gaetz, hello, God.
Yeah.
Right. I hate to even say his name, but yes, just freaking legalize it. It's legal in Nevada. And have you ever been to Holland? And it's so cool how they do it there. They've got it so together there.
Well, you talk about free healthcare, you talk about all the things that would create a sense of danger in the society by, not having legalized sex work. Yeah. And okay, you go to a country where it works just fine and things are okay and everybody's doing all right. It's like, oh, see, it works over here.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
Here. Yeah. And at some states, it just kills me that, in some states it's legal, in some states it's not. And it's just, there's so much to learn from that entire group of people.
Oh gosh, yeah. In Nevada, so it's legal as long as you're not in Washoe County, where Reno is, or Clark County, where Las Vegas is. But immediately outside of those borders, it's legal.
Exactly.
So what is this line about? It's so arbitrary.
Right.
Okay, you can drive right over the line and then go do what you want. Then drive back and don't do what you want.
Right. Well, and so many of like the events and things that they have in those counties, like I think of like the Hot October, the Hot August night, or the street vibrations and all that. They spend like their poker runs and all those kind of things going to every brothel there is.
Yes.
Reno. And it's like you're already saying, hey, go get your free coupon here, and you're not going to have that be legal in your county. Okay, sure. I'm sponsoring the event, but we're not going to allow that in our county.
Do you know about Santana Row here in San Jose?
Yes.
There are so many people there working Santana Row.
Absolutely.
Very scantily clad, very in like high heels and tiny skirts. And then you'll see the same woman walking around. And then like an hour later, she has someone that looks like maybe like a software engineer on her arm, and he's like all excited and there's a hotel there. I'm like, yep, it happens here, right here in Silicon Valley, everybody right under our nose. And, it's pretty safe in Santana Row because it's very she, and hopefully they get some tall dollar for that kind of
I'm
work in Santana Row, I hope.
I would hope so. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the issue too, is that kind of class system within sex work. It's like you get the folks that have the girlfriend experience and get sent to Italy or, wherever it is where some high powered guy that doesn't, or sometimes it's a lady, makes those decisions of like, I don't want to be dealing with a pain in the butt girlfriend or boyfriend this time. I'm just going to pay somebody to do exactly what I want them to do.
And look at how many celebrities get busted, on, Melrose, having their toes sucked or sucking toes or whatever it is they do. And
right.
Even they have unlimited resources typically. And even they have people they want to hire or have people do stuff to them that we're such a hypocrite.
I remember,
in this country.
Yeah, when they canceled Eddie Murphy in the 90s, because I was talking to a street walker, like somebody who, he's just like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden here comes cameras and everything else. And, he's going to pick up a prostitute. And they canceled him for a bit because of that.
Yeah, he's making a bit of a comeback now. Yeah. Also, what is that English guy, the British actor? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one too. And now he's owned it and makes jokes about it and stuff like that.
That's how you have to do it, right? You're like, duh, it's never going to go away ever. Once it exists on the internet, it exists forever. So you might as well just own it and make a joke about it because it's hilarious, But it's stupid they have to even go through it. Like I said, they have unlimited resources, and sometimes even they still want to hire a sex worker.
Absolutely.
Totally
and
to me.
One of our things too that we're going to talk about, mail, right? The time for mail call, actually is a sex worker question.
Oh yeah.
So the question is: are fat sex workers treated differently from thin or straight-sized sex workers? I think that's about context.
Probably,
and it is a good question.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say. Yes, I would say overall, yes. The ideal vision, right, when somebody is probably choosing a sex worker, if we're talking like a traditional, like Mustang Ranch kind of thing, right? All the girls come out, they stand in a line, and you walk around and it's all about first glance, right? It's not like, hey, I can tickle your butthole while licking your balls in, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're not telling you that. It's just some cute person standing there like, hi, choose me. And because our culture is so brainwashed with that conception of beauty and the idea of beauty, I think that the standard, blonde, big-tittied, hourglass-figured woman is going to be chosen many times over. I think Army Amy was her name.
Air Force Amy.
That's what it was. Air Force. And, just it's like the epitome American Pie. She was just the 4th of July, big bleach blonde hair, big titties, little waist, big butt. And she made tiny, yeah. She made a killing there.
Oh, yeah, she did.
She was infamous. And, I think that for sure. Yeah. You're going to see that over and over again. But I think it goes back to what you mentioned earlier. You get a niche, like you get something that's unique or interesting or different about you. I think you can make money hand over fist over a short-sized person.
I mean, I know a lot of fat sex workers and they all seem to be doing really well. And do they get treated differently? Yeah, of course they do. We know everybody fat gets treated differently. But when they used to have the Bunny Ranch on, I mean, I couldn't get enough of that show. And I've even talked to Dennis Hoff on the phone one time. He was going to come on my other podcast. And we're still friends on Facebook. And I was like, I remember when I was friends with Dennis Hoff. And for those of you who don't know Dennis Hoff, he was the owner of the Bunny Ranch.
Yeah. And
he and the woman that ran the brothel, they had it together. And they cared and loved all those people that worked there. They loved them like family, treated them like amazing, and they're just so respectful. Now, I know Dennis liked to sample the wares, but when I would watch that show and they'd have that lineup, they'd have the extra tall girl in, 6-inch stilettos, and they have, a couple women of color and a couple of women that were flat chested and have a flat butt, and people, all of them got chosen. They did have a couple of curvy girls. I remember there's one girl, she was like maybe Italian, I can't remember her name now, but I know she was real voluptuous, but probably like in that, Western beauty kind of standard, which she was kind of hourglass and stuff, but she was definitely larger and fleshier. She did really well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think too, when you start fetishizing fat bodies, right? You want to feed them or whatever, you want them to sit on you. What about the people that do the giantess, like the
Amazonian?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing too, and I'm curious if our listeners, I'd really love for them to email us who they would like us to interview in terms of sex workers, because I have a friend, her name's Amazon Amanda, and she does that for a living. She goes and, she's an Amazonian. She's super tall. She gets in heels. She's even taller, and she sits on guys, and she makes damn good money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like, okay, you've definitely hit a niche, right? There's so many women that are Amazonians.
Yeah.
And for her to be able to like, hey, I'm just going to go around. She like travels with other Amazonians, and they just, okay, we're going to Japan, and they get, 5 days in Japan of sitting on a bunch of little guys and making all kinds of money.
That's so crazy. I love it. Yeah. That's one thing I saw one time was that sometimes women, I don't know if they're all Amazons, but they would crush little things like little toys, like little cars and Legos, and they like smash them and crunch them, and then they would sit on the guy's face or whatever, face sitting.
Face sitting.
They have a smothering. Some of them is smothering, and then some of them have like the queening chair, and they sit in the queening chair, and then the person does whatever they want to do to that area that's coming through the hole of the queening chair. Queening chair is like any regular chair, but with a big hole cut in the middle of it, so someone could sit very comfortably on it. But someone can also do stuff to the person sitting there, and they call it a queening chair because I think people use it for women to sit in it, but anybody can sit in it.
Right. Mm-hmm. That sounds like a fun item to have.
I know.
Room.
Yes, I agree.
But yeah, I was thinking,
I would love to know. Yeah.
Yeah, if our listeners wanted to send us an email, how do they do that?
sexy@BigSexyChat.com. And we would love any ideas for sex workers, type of sex work you're interested in. And we would love to, between the three of us, and actually between the four of us, I think we know quite a few sex workers and dominatrixes and that kind of thing that would be interested in coming on the show for sure.
Absolutely. The more
we can educate people about it, the better, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The more information, the more informed your choices are.
Absolutely. And that's a lot of times they're just the girl next door.
Yeah.
They're your neighbor.
No clue that she's got an OnlyFans, and you wish you knew.
Mm-hmm. Big time. Big time. That's a great hot topic. That's a hot one for sure. Yeah.
Well, and that listener mail of just like wanting to know the difference. I think it's a good question. I would love to have someone, I'd love to have both sides come in and say, oh yeah, I make really good money steady. But then here comes somebody who's got a niche that's like, I make a ton of money just up front, or, like 1 or 2 sessions and don't have to have those regular contacts, that sort of thing. And if you're a cam person, if you're on a cam, it's very safe. And you can, I know they can talk to people on the phone while they're doing the camming, and no STDs or STIs, no violence, and you're very safe in your own home. A lot of people do that. A lot of couples do it. There's a demand for everything you can imagine. There's a million places you can go and do a cam show too. But it does take some work. You have to hustle. And I have a friend that's been doing it for about 10 years. That's all she does. Yeah. Well, we went to the AVN Awards a couple of years back, and the cam girls have taken that over. I mean, they were having live shows at the AVN Awards, and, it was like you'd walk around and hear they're talking, and you're thinking, are they talking to me? Nope, they're talking to somebody that's on the internet, 100 miles away or whatever, just, oh, you want to see my boobs? And just pulling out, oh, okay, cool. I get to see this as a year. Very cool. Yeah. When I used to go to the sex toy trade show a lot in Las Vegas, the best booth was the one where they had the sex swings. And
a lot of adult film stars are there, and a lot of just regular people are there, and a lot of people are just in their thong or whatever, and they would get in the swing, and sometimes the swing has like the 4 places for you, 2 hands and 2 legs, and then the security guards would walk around that booth so many times. So many. I'm like, we can see you, you know, you're
Right.
not invisible. I'm like, there's probably other action going on down there at this other end of the. Nope, they wanted to circle that because
Yep.
when you're in a sex swing, there's no secrets.
Not at all. Especially when you're like spread eagle on the side.
And it's in a tiny G string or something. Yeah, it's really cool because at the sex toy trade shows they do have a lot of adult film stars, but they seem to kind of bring in the A-team on Mondays, and then it seems to go downhill a little bit from there. But they look like regular people when you get to day 2 and day 3, as opposed to like full blown out, you know, blow dried suntan or spray tan, big silicone boobies. But it's cool. It's really cool. And then all the male adult film stars, I noticed they were shorter, like on the shorter side of life. And they told me, and that's true. But like if let's say you're 5'8" or 5'5" and you're a guy, and you have average size penis, which is like 5 3/4. 5 3/4 is someone who's 5'5" looks humongous. Mm-hmm. But if the person is 6'6" and he only has only 5 3/4, that's average. That's not only 5 3/4 inch penis. It looks smaller because he's got so much more body, and perspective makes it look small. So I was like, wow, learn something new every day.
Absolutely, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So tell us about the vibe of the week.
Well, we thought this week we would talk about all those different sex machines out there. And you have one, right? You have the kind of like a Sibian one.
Yeah, I have the cowgirl saddle.
And we've talked about that in one of our episodes, right?
Yeah, that was our first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a hefty price, right?
Yes,
so in terms of, and I think any sex machine you're going to find is probably a little bit more expensive because you're having to do the work. So the cowgirl saddle is close to $2,000. So a Sibian saddle, same kind of thing. For the women, it's a bit more money. You know, in terms of like they're trying to make it look all cute and different. But if you just get the standard, you know, model, it's like $200 or $300 cheaper.
Right, yeah. I love those fucking machines. I can't get enough of those.
That's like one of my favorite types of porn to watch.
Me too. I love it. Just, people will just be like laying on their bed and it's just like, it's wow. It's like get the lube, have the lube in your hand. Be prepared to. When I went to kink.com, they were shooting some adult films there, and they would have the people off camera. They have their favorite lube in a squirt bottle, and they'd be off camera, and you'd see little streams of lubricant coming in to keep everything moist. I'm assuming they edited that out for their adult films, but someone's got to be on. There's like 2 or 3 people that are like spraying all this lube everywhere. I was like, they had drums, like 55 gallons of like that silicone lube I love.
Yeah.
Dave and I want one so bad because we love that silicone lubricant. 55 gallons, but it only has a 10-year shelf life. So I don't know if we could go through 55 gallons in 10 years. That's kind of but they had them there.
I think if you could use it as like Nuru massage oil too, some other thing, maybe you could get through that 55-gallon drum in 10 years. But
it's really expensive though, so it'd be hard to.
It'd be a really fun challenge to take on, though.
Yes, the first time we kind of were aware of the Amazon Prime sales, I was like, "Babe, let's get that drum of lube on our wish list in case it ever comes up. Amazon Prime Day, let's get it on sale."
You get that notification, something in your shopping list is on sale. You're like, buy now.
Your 55-gallon barrel of lube misses you. But they always say, right? When they say email, it misses you. I'm like, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of machines now that I think I have the unicorn. I put that on my website just because I knew you liked it. There are some new, I don't know if they're pneumatic or gears, but usually the sex toy machines, the fucking machines, just go like this way.
Yeah.
Well, now they make one that goes this way, so there's 2.
So you have one on each.
Yeah, so one penis going to the left, one penis going to the right, so you can have two people.
Like finger trap.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
other way. So they're like
just going out. Okay.
yeah. People in podcast land can't see my fingers if you want to watch it on the YouTube channel. But yeah, the right hand is going to the left, and then the left hand is going to the right, and it's giving you little penises on both ends from my index finger, and those are what penetrates the person, either anally or vaginally, whatever they want to do.
That sounds like fun.
It's kind of new, yeah. Especially if you have like a friend, if you have a special friend that you have, I don't know, threesomes with, or a play partner, or two people, or maybe like maybe even you and your partner, if you're both interested or open to being penetrated, could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I looked them up. It seems like it's called Hismith. Is the name of like the gold standard of sex machines that penetrate like that.
Okay.
They seem to be the one that came up most in my research. Average price is around $500.
Okay.
So I'm sure the one that has one on each side is more because it's got to work two systems. But just the standard, if you just wanted the one that drills at you, that one.
Speaking of, it's Labor Day weekend. When we're recording this, it's Labor Day weekend. Speaking of labor, my favorite dominatrix has a drill dough. It's attached to a real drill that you would use to do stuff in your house. And then she has all these attachments that are, she gives one to each client so they can take it home with them. And they put the dildo on the drill, and she just drills them with her drill dough.
I love it.
It's so cool. It's kind of long. It's a little heavy. But she says her clients, when they see that on her list of offerings, they're like, oh, mistress, could you please use the drill dough on me? She's like, yeah, sure.
That's fun.
It looks like your tool.
Super powerful. You know, if you're like walking around with it, you know, like
no joke.
Right.
I've lifted it. It's no joke. It's for real. And if you take the dildo off it, you could turn it into a regular old tool for your handyman.
I love it. That's clever.
I'm sure there's others like that too. I just don't know what the other tools are that are sex toys too.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, so in terms of, we've talked about penetrative, what about the kind that receives? Mm-hmm. So they have a toy that is specific for, and I just like that they use this term, it just kind of creeps me out. And I'm not 100% sure why. I think it's because I think of like cow udders, but they call it milking.
Oh, yeah.
So things that, you know, are milking toys. So it's meant to get ejaculate from a guy. There's one called Auto Blow. Now this thing, I looked it up. I may have to purchase it for the hubs. Just, it's so wild. It has Wi-Fi so that you can control it on your phone. So like Bluetooth, you can use it like that. It has programmed blowjob scenarios. So they're meant to be like, go through and kind of like find what sounds like the perfect blowjob to you and pre-program it to this machine. And it also does voice control. So you could be like, hey, auto blow, go slower, you know, and it'll be like, yeah, I don't know. But everything I've seen, it looks like, what? This looks so cool. And it's kind of like a fleshlight inside this machine that moves the fleshlight for you. So it's basically milking, quote unquote, you know, to come.
This is such an amazing world that we live in.
Right?
The technology is crazy. Merf, they also have milking tables, and a lot of the dominatrixes offer milking services. So they do like a lot of edging with their clients, helping them to get close and then back off, close and then back off. But there's like a hole cut in the middle of the massage table. So the junk can go right down. They lay on their tummy, and everything goes right below the table. And then underneath the table, they do all their work. They do their barber shop pull and all the other stuff like probably the auto does. And
a clean chair, but for laying down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool. And then you could cover it up if you just want to use those regular massage table. They make like a little insert that pops in there. But yeah, milking, that's the word they use, milking table.
I just think of udders. I don't, and I love cats, but I just think of, I don't know. It sounds dirty to me. I don't like it.
When you see a penis coming through the massage table, it does kind of look like an udder that needs to be milked. So
Yeah.
kind of true.
Yeah. Well, it's just so you know, it's $230
Oh,
to
that's
get
not
the
bad.
to get the blowjob machine. Now it looked like a generic fleshlight. So if you wanted to do a fleshlight,
Mm-hmm.
which is a silicone mold of all kinds of different things. Fleshlight has all sorts of things that you can choose from. My husband has like a plethora of.
Yeah.
He's won some. He's purchased some. He loves. They have it after your favorite female porn stars right now, and I think now they've started doing male porn stars.
Yeah, yeah. They mold it actually after their vulva, vagina, or butthole.
Yeah, whole like plaster thing so that they get the perfect. Yeah. And then they get to choose the inside molding so that if it has like little nubs or and fleshlights run anywhere from like $60 to $80.
Yep.
Just kind of depending.
I have some of them on my Bliss Connection site, and I bought a few for my partner. But also, one of my friends bought one that was called the Fleshlight Trainer because he had been without a partner for so long, and he was dating somebody, and he thought it was going to start happening, and he was worried that he couldn't last this long because he was so used to just masturbating. And,
right.
When you're in control of your own orgasm, you can make things happen quickly. And he was doing that. So he kind of got trained to just last, 1 minute and then go take a shower and go to work. So he bought the trainer, and he said it really did help him. Had all kinds of different sensations inside of it. Fleshlight makes a great product. You got to take care of it, though. You got to take good care of it because the silicone.
Yeah.
You got to use good lube.
You got to buy like actual cleaning stuff from them and use the cornstarch to keep it, so it doesn't get all sticky. And
it looks dirty sometimes. I'm like, oh. But I like the clear ones. You can see things through it. That's really nice.
Yeah. They make one now with like a pump too.
Oh,
so
perfect.
Like you slide it over, it's clear. So then when it's like, when you're pumping it, it's like you see the blood rushing to it. Yeah.
Girthy.
Yeah. Right? It's like, it's all like super dark and,
veiny, bulging, veins bulging.
Like, it's gonna pop,
Literally any second now. Yeah, they're beautiful. They're fun to use together.
Yeah.
They're really fun.
I've always enjoyed that. And the saddle, I can attest to that. I've always wanted to try one of those just plain old fucking machines. At some point, I think that will be in my ideal sex room.
Yeah.
That's one that I haven't purchased yet, but it's on my list.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Perfect. Go for it.
Did you know, Merf, that Liberator, our sponsor, also has a saddle that they sell?
I did not know that. Tell me about this.
Yeah, it's just like all the ones that you see, but it's Liberator's brand. It's on the Liberator website, and our listeners can use the code BigSexyChat on Liberator.com on all their sex furniture and saddle and all that good stuff, and get 20% off, as long as it's not already on sale. But yeah, 20% off. Use the code BigSexyChat. That might be your opportunity, Merv, to buy one.
And you know that I love me some Liberator, so I will likely be purchasing that. Ooh, that sounds fabulous.
Yeah.
And are we doing a giveaway?
Yes, thanks for reminding me. Yes, we are.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
We're going to give away 2 of their sex blankets, which I love. I keep one upstairs and one downstairs, one on the couch and on the bed. It's nice because you never know when you're going to get busy. The Liberator sex blanket, they call it a throw. I've had them probably 10 years or more. They keep all the fluids on the blanket. So it doesn't matter if it's lube, water, ejaculate, female ejaculate. It keeps it on so you don't ruin your mattress. And it goes, so genius. And it goes in the washer and the dryer perfectly. Just like all the covers on their sex furniture. You can take the blanket and throw it in the washer and the dryer. Sometimes when you buy things that are water resistant, where they have that like liner inside and it kind of gets scrunched, not with the Liberator, and we wash them a lot.
Yes.
And yeah, and it's still holds up like it's brand new.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get 2 away, yay!
It's awesome. Oh, I'm so glad that we have Liberator as a sponsor now.
I know, me too.
I could sing their praises for products like my life depended on it. I just love it so much.
That's what I told them when I was asking about being a sponsor. I go, honest, by the way, we rave about your products all the time anyway, so you really should be a sponsor. And they're like, heck yeah. But yeah, so we're going to give 2 throws away, but to two different people. And all you have to do to get on the list to be, considered as a winner, as a part of the drawing, is go to our website, BigSexyChat.com, and then where you enter your name and your email, that's how you're going to enter the drawing. And we'll do a random drawing, and we're going to do it on September 30th. And I'll email the winners. If the winners tell me I can mention their first name, I'll mention their first name on our Facebook and Instagram. And then hopefully they'll take a picture like our last winner did. And she took a picture of herself next to the jazz pillow. And she's Marcy from Mississippi. Oh, I should say they. That's the right pronoun. They are Marcy from Mississippi. And they let us put their face on our Facebook and Instagram. But yeah.
Nice. Thanks, Marcy.
She's awesome. The other thing is, too, that I said yesterday in our newsletter, by the way, I only send 2, possibly 3 per month. But if you write us a review on our page, we have a place to write reviews on our page, or on Apple or Spotify or Google or wherever you listen to podcasts, we'll give you 5 extra entries into the drawing.
Oh, snap. 5 extra entries and the entry for just being on the newsletter.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty simple to me.
Yep. Right now we have about 900 people in our database. So you have really good odds of winning. It's like right now 1 in 900. But yeah. And then we don't spam you. If you don't want to receive it anymore, just hit the unsubscribe button. I never want to spam anybody. It's not worth it. I have to pay for the people in the database. So the fewer people in the database, the less expensive. But it's actually a really good problem to have if you have a lot of people in your database. So I don't mind paying, but I don't want to spam you ever. So please be sure to unsubscribe. My feelings are not hurt.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully I think folks, or if they're subscribing to our content, you're wanting to know what's happening in the world of Big Sexy Chat. And, every time I get the newsletter, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but I'm still like, oh, look at that. Oh, Asher said that. Sydney did that. Oh, this.
And we just hit our 5,000 downloads last week, and it's like 5,100 now. So I put that in this last newsletter. It's very exciting.
Heck yeah.
It's only been 6 months.
Yeah. Half a year. We've already got 5,000 downloads. See, that's amazing. See, now we just need y'all to actually comment on what it is we're doing so that it gets it out there more, and maybe we can get to 10.
Yeah, wouldn't that be lovely? And
like by February of next year.
Valentine's Day was the day we launched.
Ooh, I see you headed our way.
Yeah, so check out the Liberator website. Be sure to use the code BigSexyChat. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter. Get it. That gives you an entry into the drawing. And then if you write us a review, you'll give you an extra 5 entries into the drawing. And you'll win a sex blanket. And we have something really exciting to give away closer to the holidays, but I'm not going to let that out of the bag yet. It's big.
And hey, Liberator, if you are listening, we would be happy to try out more of your product. Just out there too.
Absolutely.
So we don't already have an arsenal of all types of Liberator product, but in case you had something new you wanted us to try out and talk about.
You never know. I hope they're listening. Yeah. Is there anything else, Merf? We pretty much cover everything?
I think that's it. I mean, I missed Anal August, so, it was nice to come back and after COVID and get back to seeing you and have some normalcy with the pod. And I appreciate you doing the interview for Anal August with Lulu. That was fun. I got to enjoy it as an observer this episode, so it was very cool.
But I missed you.
I know, I missed you guys too. I just figured people wouldn't want to hear me 5 seconds. Oh.
Luke, I am your father.
Trying to audition for.
Oh, wonderful. Then I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, and I will see you later, alligator.
Well, after a while, crocodile.